all the maintenance, local maintenance, not not just importing parts from U.S. Let's say that's not going to work, right? And also had to be really low cost. So they were really thinking about the whole thing altogether. Lastly, water aid. Water aid is interesting. The way they think is that they don't just think as a sustainable solution to address the needs of the people in Africa. What they really focus on is figuring out sustainable ways to develop the community, and that's where they focus on. And the question is, how can you, instead of just providing a technical solution, how can you enhance the life of the people in Africa and create a sustainable community rather than just a sustainable solution? Next one. So it looks kind of a lot, but when we actually had a lot of findings from our research. We took all that and compiled into a visual format like this. Let me just briefly explain to you. What this is practical framework for us. It's a process that we can actually take this. If we would go to Africa, we would take the process and apply it in our practice in Africa. So, like I said before, the first thing you would do, the circles, basically the circles represent a stage in the process. And the words on the outside are high-level actions that we can take. Becoming indigenous was the first step, really being part of the community, identifying and engaging key stakeholders, understanding the problem and framing the problem so we can address it. We can identify creative resources, and there are many ways of doing that, and we can generate ideas. Danish is going to talk about that a little bit later. We have to go through that iterative process, right? Explore, test, and refine. It has to be iterative. Validate with the community. And also, education and communication is huge. It's huge. And then at the end, you want to measure the outcome in terms of social benefits and document all this. These arrows here basically means that in each step of this process, we are communicating with them. We are engaging them as part of the whole process as co-creators, right? They also become the developers because they are the subject matter experts. They know who they are. So we need to learn from them, and we need to work with them. Next one. So we talked about the purpose of why we are doing this. We showed you a practical steps, a practical process that we can take. We also showed you what are the actions that we can take in addressing the needs of the people in Africa. What we also consistently found from our readings and our interview is that there are these set of values that kept on coming up. So we documented them. The values are inclusive, empathetic, inquisitive, creative, and accountable. These are not the only values, but these are the ones that we found that we kept on seeing while we were researching. Also, we found that having a clear vision is really important, that the processes and the actions would align to a single vision throughout the process is also very important. Danish is going to talk about how we're going to secure sustainable strategic advantage.
So what we found is that it's all about linking and building bridges. One thing that design management, which is the fundamentals of design management, is to how not only to identify but link these different entities wherever they are in the world for a common goal. Some of the important things that I would like to share with you when we talk about securing sustainable strategic advantage, the first thing I would like to bring to you is basically the identification of the key constituencies. Now, this differs from country to country, nation to nation, but when we look at Africa holistically, we find public sector, private sector, the local NGOs, and nonetheless the education institutions there that are playing very, very important role. And design management can work like a glue between these constituencies. So that's one of the points, the first things that we need to identify wherever they are in whatever region. Secondly, as Jay mentioned before, we spoke with Trevor Field, and when we talk about building strategic partnerships, design management plays a very, very important role. It's the fundamentals of design management. We spoke with Trevor Field. You can see a little shot of him in the video. He was on the frontline program. I could literally hear him. He was stuck in traffic, I believe, and I could hear the static on his cell phone, and the phone call keeps dropped a couple of times, and I had to call him back, and he had a very thick South African accent, but very friendly person, very, very cooperative, and he sends a message for all of you in New York, actually, which is to spread the word, find out more about the play pump and how this venture is working in Africa and how can we help. So it's playpump.org. Please go there, go on that website and find out how we here in the US can help out. When we talk about strategic partnership, what's happening, a very interesting thing that he explained is that he linked up with a company by the name of One Water, which is based in UK and spearheaded by a person named Duncan Goose, who left his full-time job and he started out this company, a bottled water company, to help out this venture in Africa. And 100% of the profit of this bottle company goes to support play pump in Africa. The way simply the play pump works, it's a pretty simple, sustainable way. Kids play on the merry-go-round, and each direction, whether it's going left or right, the merry-go-round will pump water from underneath the ground and will pump it up to a water tank and will filter out clean drinking water on the other side. And it's mainly planted right now close to schools there, where children that don't have places to play. And most of the time, kids and women, on the average, spend 5 hours to go and fetch water. And even the water tank is actually used for advertising, and he's using the water tanks to advertise mainly health issues like AIDS, which is also not a very big issue right now in Africa. Thirdly, I would like to talk about, which is